excited to have you, Ryan.
Dude, I'm so pumped to be here. You've had a meaningful impact on my life, and so it all comes full circle to be here. Thank you.
And I'm excited to have you because you have such an interesting story about everything that you've built, and you have such a unique approach to running a business that I'm absolutely excited to bring you on board and have my tribe listen to all that you have to say and all that you have to share. So I'm super pumped about this.
Great. Let's dive in. Thanks so much, Ajit.
So before we even get started into the conversation of the specifics that we're going to talk about, why don't we start with a little bit of your background as to how did you get started? How did you get so much success so early on in your career, or so it seems like from the outside looking in? And what were some of the key things that you learned along the way? If there were like one or two things that you would like to highlight going, that was one thing that I learned that helped me a lot.
Yeah, you got it. So I got into this game because I thought I was going to go to college to be a pastor. And I always had dreams of being an entrepreneur, and I needed kind of a way to scratch that itch. And so I grew up pretty low middle class and had kind of the entrepreneurial drive and wasn't going to make much money because I thought I was going to make 30 grand a year as a pastor. Spoiler alert, I did not become a pastor, but that'll be a story for another podcast, likely. So when I was in college, I was learning about search engine optimization and affiliate marketing and product launches and email marketing and all the stuff that we do to acquire customers and clients and to get our name out there. So I was one of the early internet marketers, but I always felt really unhappy with it. I mean, almost like a crippling, debilitating sense of unhappiness with the whole thing. And when I really was honest with myself, I didn't like hanging out with internet marketers. I didn't like talking about internet marketing. I didn't like doing internet marketing. I was doing it because there was an end result to it, which was money. I was really glad for that money, but there was no purpose behind all of that. And when I was in my early 20s in 2012 or 2013, I put everything I owned into my car, decided to shake things up a little bit to make me uncomfortable a little bit. And I drove to Austin, Texas, and I haven't left since. So I moved to Austin, Texas, putting everything that I owned in my Kia Sportage, which I still own to this day. Now, in kind of that unraveling or like that just rediscovery period, which I think a lot of people are going through right now with everything going on in the world, there's a little bit of an unearthing or a rediscovery process side of it. But for me, what I started to notice was that if I applied just a little bit of what I knew from my marketing background or my persuasion, like my sales writing and all the things I had learned, learning how to market, and I applied it to a real business, things got real good real quick. And it was so interesting to notice even today that there's so many internet marketers who are teaching one aspect of growing a business and treating that as the business. So they're talking only about YouTube ads, and that becomes the business, versus using YouTube ads to acquire clients that pay you and stick with you for a really long time. So the marketing crowd was a really transactional, really extractive community or thought process for me. But when I applied that to a real business, things got really, really interesting very quickly. The fast forward end result to that is I started building physical products brands, several of which I took into the 7 figures. The one that I'm most known for was started with a $600 investment that I grew to about a $10 million a year business, a little bit more when it comes to run rate. And I sold that for an 8-figure exit. And today I basically teach people how I did that and how they can use a little bit of their marketing background to build really successful companies that they can either scale or exit. And the formula that I teach people works, but I tell them that it only works if you're building the business that really makes you happy. If you're building the business that you really want to have, if you have the business that you're really going to enjoy. Because so many people are looking for the hack or the route in order to get the result that they're missing, that if they use all the things that they've discovered along the way to build something that they like right now, it will take them to the level that they want. And so that's what I have discovered most fully along this kind of unraveling of wanting to be an entrepreneur, to becoming a marketer, to learning how that skill set really builds real companies.
Fantastic. And that's what I love about you. There's so like you understand the internet marketing world, and I come from the coaching consulting world, right? That you're already aware of that. And in our world, if somebody says marketing, it almost is like a negative feeling associated to that.
Yeah.
And the reason is mostly because coaches are very heart-centered, impact-focused individuals, and marketing feels like a take for us a lot of times. It feels like, I don't really want to market myself. I don't really want to do sales. I don't really want to do a promotion, even while we understand that it is very important. What I really loved is a point that you said, and I would love for you to expand on that, is you said, people tend to go and say, all right, I do YouTube, and they make that the business, instead of saying that is a part of the business, and the business really is the product that you sell, and the product is something that's long-term, that's viable, that's something that really helps people in different capacity, like your e-commerce product and the other products that you're working on right now at capitalism.com. So tell me a little bit more about that differentiation, because I know you're very product focused as a person and use marketing as a channel to promote what's really valuable.
That's right. So let's just be super clear about this. The business is the ongoing support of your clients and customers. That's what your business exists to do. It is like money is just the way that we fund and that we make possible the service of one another. That's what money exists to do. It allows us to serve and communicate with one another. Short-term, long-term, one-on-one, at mass. It is how we serve one another and how we allocate the resources to serve one another. The business is the actual serving part. It's the actual serving of your clients and customers. So number one, that's what the business is. A lot of marketers, especially from my background, confused the business with being the marketing. They confused the business with the acquisition of people who are willing to pay you money, but they're paying you to be served for a specific purpose. So as a coach or as someone who is a thought leader, your job is to be dialed into your message and your service for your clients. And marketing is the way that you show and highlight that good work. So that can be taking clips of your one-on-ones and putting them on YouTube, or it can be taking those and running them as ads. But it is always the highlight of how you serve those clients and customers so that other people who don't know about you right now will resonate with what it is that you bring to the world and want more of that. That's the purpose of marketing. And so what I discovered is that marketing works really, really well when it's partnered with a good product and a good business or a good coach. And marketing doesn't work so well when it's got a really crappy product. And everyone that I was hanging out with was in marketing to be a marketer, to do marketing to other marketers. And there was never a good business that it was paired with. And I just kind of looked at this like a matrix and went, something ain't right here. And if I take just a little piece of that and apply it to a real business, things just blow up really, really quickly. And that's been it was a difficult transition for me, and because there's so much of a pattern that is built up in the marketing world of it is all about scale or acquisition or whatever it is, that it is a bit of a process to dial into. The primary purpose is the service of clients and customers. So coaches and consultants know that. I mean, that is what they know. They know the service of people. They know what they're helping people transform into. And so what I discovered is that you take a little piece of what I used to know and apply it to somebody who has really dialed into the result they get people, and just magic ensues.
Absolutely. And tell me a little bit more. So let's put you on a little bit of a task here. Tell us how, if there was somebody, a consultant or a coach that you was getting introduced, let's assume they have a really phenomenal product already in place. They're really able to deliver the result that they promised to the client. What would your recommendation would be for them to pursue in the coming world? Because we are having this conversation at a time. We were supposed to do this physically. We were supposed to be in Los Angeles. We had a whole crew set up for it. And then, of course, COVID-19 happened, and we couldn't actually have a full set conversation, but we didn't want to miss the opportunity. So we are doing this over online. but we are kind of locked in our houses operating from this place, which and from what I understand, again, I please choose to disagree if you don't agree, but I believe the world's going to be different as we come out of this, and
Yes.
not just marginally, but pretty heavily. It would be a very, very different world. So what would you suggest, recommend, have people think about, especially if they are in a service-based industry, which is what I would say any coaches, either they're in the education-based industry or a service-based industry?
Well, I mean, the first thing you should note is you're about to enter into a really great time to be a coach and to be a consultant. I mean, a really, really great time, because if Ajit and I are right that the world looks a lot different on the other side of this than it did prior, then the demand for customized help that can be done virtually will go up a great deal. You're going to see a changing of the guard like we are seeing in physical product brands, which is my background, where you have the retail chains going out of business and online brands starting to rise. You will start to see that with coaches and consultants too, because people will not go to Tony Robbins conferences anymore. People will not hire consulting firms to come to them anymore. They will look for more customized help. Now, Tony Robbins will still be in business. There will still be big consulting firms, of course. But if we see a changing of the guard in terms of people's behaviors, then the opportunity as a client and a consultant is real good right now for you to learn things about online coaching programs, for you to learn about online masterminds, for you to be acquiring customers through capturing your client's transformation on camera and running that as a YouTube ad. You're about to enter into a really, really great time. And so I would embrace this if you are in the market to be a coach or a consultant, because this is about to be the golden era that you are on the forefront of. That's my opinion.
That's absolutely, completely. I'm glad we agree on that. I think that there's a big opportunity that's coming also because coaches and consultants are basically built to facilitate change. And this is change. Like there's no other easier way to explain it.
Yeah.
As a product, you are a product of facilitating change.
That's
so
right.
Tell us, Ryan, tell us what were some of the big mind shifts that you believe that helped you go from starting a company for $600 is what you said, to eventually getting an exit for 8 figures. Like
so
thing that went, and what I want to focus on is also how do you get to your first million? So, and the caveat is two. One is because I know you have a book coming out on that topic, and secondly, because a lot of coaches, consultants start strong, they get some traction, they hit the 6 figures, and then it kind of dies off. It becomes harder and harder. Sometimes they don't even hit the 6 figures. You just get into this mundane rut.
Yes.
So 2-part question. Firstly, what was a big shift from you going from a $600 investment to $10 million company, or multiple shifts? And secondly, how was the journey to the first million?
Yeah. So one of the opening chapters of my book is what I wish someone had told me before I started. And so there's several lessons, several shifts that I had that I wish I had known earlier, because I would have done things differently. One of them is this impacts way more than you. Many entrepreneurs get into this because they want to make money, or they want to have a few paying clients so they can live the 4-hour work week. I think that's okay. But if you recognize that what you do affects way more people than just you, and way more people than you even realize, you start to see how every action that you do has ripple effects. You and I are recording this podcast right now that will be seen by thousands of people. And those people will have conversations with their peers and their families and their spouses and their kids. And whatever one little thing that we say may get into the mind of one person who ends up repeating that line for the rest of their lives. Now, none of them may become customers or book buyers or clients of yours. And what's important about that is that everything that you're doing in business is having those kind of ripple effects that affect thousands, sometimes millions of people. And I wish that I had that realization earlier, because I would have gone even more aggressive into serving each individual person. I would have remembered that every comment matters, every purchase matters, every review matters. Every single one of those positive transactions has ripple effects that go out far beyond what I can see. And so if you're at the beginning of your journey or you're not yet at six figures, one of the things that I would like for you to realize is that you don't focus on what's out here and where you're trying to go and what the gap is from where you are to where you want to be. You focus on those micro things that are happening positively because those have ripple effects that you can't imagine right now. Just this past week, I was speaking with someone that I had as a client years ago. And I mean, like 6-7 years ago. And this person contacted someone else that I know, unrelated to these two relationships. And he contacted this partner and said, hey, I just sold my company for $30 million and I'm looking for some investment opportunities. What do you got? That person then called me and said, hey, do you know so-and-so? And I was like, yeah, he was one of my first early clients years ago. I haven't talked to that person in years and had no idea that the thing that we started together, that I helped him start 6 or 7 years ago, was going to be an 8-figure exit for him 6 or 7 years later. And I have no idea what kind of ripple effects that is going to have, or what I said to him that created such and such a result or an insight for him. And so all of the things that you're doing right now as a consultant or as a coach, the people that you work with they're influential. That's the word I'm looking for. They're influential, even if it's influential to their own community and their own neighborhood. Everything that you do has a ripple effect to that. And had somebody told me that, I would have gone more aggressive on each individual person and customer. The second thing that I wish someone had told me when I first started was, the longer term you can think, the faster your results will be. So the longer that you can think, if you can think of 10 years from now, you will have better and faster results even in the short term. So especially in the marketing world, people are guilty of just pulling chips off the table as fast as possible. So they never build up any positive momentum to be free of their business or for the business to carry on a life of itself. They're always in there mining and extracting as much as possible. We all know companies and people like that, and we don't like doing business with them. But if you can think about, okay, I know that so-and-so was impacted by what I did for them 6 or 7 years ago. So I'm now going to treat every single person that I interact with the same mentality that 6 or 7 years from now, they're going to have an amazing result. Man, it just completely changes the way that you think about your business. And it also frees you up to think about things like, should I spend money on advertising? Like, should I run that ad to get more opt-ins or clients, even though it's not profitable in the short run, or I don't feel like I'm good at it, or I feel like it's not, it's icky to do it right now. If your job and your intent is to have ripple effects that last for a decade or longer, that frees you up to do a lot of wiser things in the short run, which will bring you faster results and compounding growth over years that bring you far beyond where you can imagine that you might be.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Ryan. So those are some crazy good nuggets. Especially, I love the element that you talked about the short term and the long term. I'm a firm believer of one of the biggest challenges that I've found with people that I've met, people even I admired and then I met, and I looked at how they really perceive the business, and the difference between outrageously successful companies and the companies that get by and have to struggle pretty much every year is the way they look at the world, not right now, but how the world's going to be 5 years, 10 years from now. They have a unique long-term approach to say, I'm doing this not for now, I'm doing this for 6 years from now, 10 years from now, 5 years from now, 3 years from now. So thank you for sharing that. Now I know your company was an e-commerce company, but I am pretty certain that the business principles are equally applicable to any service-based company. My question to you is, how did you think about the first million? I know you said that as one of your things as well, is to look at the micro wins every day, which is one of the elements that you suggested, the important elements to remember. What are some of the other things that you would invite somebody who's listening to this conversation to firstly, of course, get your book because that has a full lay of the land, but also, and we'll post the link of the book below on this page, so don't worry about it. You can pre-order it and so forth. If this releases before the book comes out, if this releases after the book comes out, well, you can order it straight away. But before we even go to the book, what are some of the key highlights that you would like to go? Okay, these are some of the highlights that I want people to remember to get to their first million.
Yeah. So the first thing that I want people to know is that the strategy and the formulas that you implement to get to $1 million or 10 million or whatever you want, they only work if they're plugged into what you really want. You know, they only work if you want the business that it is that you are building. And that sounds kind of weird. So let me explain a little bit what I mean. I know so many people who don't want to be in the business that they're in, but they're doing it for the result and they can't figure out why they are struggling. The idea that they would start a business that they're really excited about or passionate about is something that they feel like they'll do later. It's something that they'll do after they make the money. They do not realize that they will make the money when they switch into the mindset of doing what it is that you want to be doing now. Why is that? Because when you want to be doing it now, it's easier to think about 10 years from now. It is easier to think about giving to your customers rather than just selling the next thing. It's easier to think about, okay, I've got too many clients now, so I've got to go to an online model where I can be one to many. You would never think to do that if you were just in it for the short-term cash. But if you want to be in it now, you will run the business more profitably, more efficiently, and in a way that is of greater service to your clients and to your customers when you want it, when you want to do the doing. I gave a speech once called Freedom is the Doing. The idea there was that freedom is not the thing that you get at the end of all of this hard work. Freedom is your enjoyment of the unfolding of what it is that you want right now. That's freedom. Freedom is not the ability to do what you want in the form of money in the bank. Freedom is doing what it is that you want. And as capitalists and entrepreneurs, we get to do that in a way that is profitable because that's the way that we can sustain that service to other people. That's the point. And if you get that, then you have full permission to say, what's the business that I want to create? What's the service that I know people need? What's the thing that I know I would enjoy helping people transform? What's the pain I want to help them get out of? What is the thing that I know I can do for other people that completely change their families and everybody around them? Because then you can go all in on your clients and your customers and you will get rich in the process. It is not the other way around. It is that way forward. So that is the first piece. The second piece, let's talk about the million. What happened for me when I hit my first million was that I realized that I was good at this. That's it. That's the only change that happened. I realized, I think I might be good at this. I was doubtful of my own abilities and my own skill sets until I had the personal validation to say, I run $1 million business. But nothing had changed. Nothing was different. Nothing fell from the sky. My bank account was a little bit bigger, but I had a really big confidence bank account. I wish that I had had that confidence at the beginning. I don't know if that's possible, but if I knew the impact and the growth that I would have, I would have been really confident at the beginning, and I just would have gone harder and faster. And I would have been more confident, and I would have been willing to risk more of myself rather than play it safe and follow predictable strategies that other people told me would work. And so that's the thing that has happened for me when I crossed the first million. And then the third is that I realized that results compound over time. What happened for me was my first product was like a $25 or $30 product that I sold on Amazon. And we got it to about 25 sales a day. And my brain went, okay, great. If I just have 4 products at 25 sales a day, that's 100 sales a day. And that's $1 million business at a $25 price point. In fact, that's what I teach in the book. I teach people how to get 4 products at 25 sales a day and have $1 million business. But what I discovered is that it didn't require that. It didn't take that, because here's what happened. I released product number 2, and I got product number 2 to 25 sales a day. Awesome. We're right on track. I'm going to go get product number 3, right? But that's not what happened. when I hit 25 sales a day in the second product, the sales of product number 1 doubled. So now I'm doing 75 sales a day. And then what happened was the sales of product number 2 doubled. And all of a sudden, just 2 products had me at $1 million business because those 2 things were feeding each other. We had crossover sales. We had repeat buyers. We had people who saw one and bought the other. All of a sudden, the snowball is starting to roll. At its peak, the product that I thought had hit its ceiling at 25 sales a day was doing 200 sales a day, nearly 10 times what I thought was the limit of what was possible for this product. So everything that you do is a compounding effect. And so if you love it, if you go all in on it, if you believe in it, things get real good real quick. And if not, you'll be in this recurring hamster wheel, this stuckness where we're always trying to find the problem of why we are not successful, trying to hack our way through it rather than just allowing what it is that we want to bring and do in the world to unfold naturally, and using things like marketing to amplify it and make it faster so that we can serve more people doing the things that we want to do, giving them the transformations that they want to have so that they can go tell other people about who we are and what we do and how this has impacted their lives. If you do that, that's when things get easy and fun and natural and grow with or without you.
So you found your confidence when, let's say, you hit the $1 million, right? You've got, all right, I think I'm good at this. Say somebody who's not at that stage. Were you ever able to reflect back and say, hey, if I would have asked myself this question, done this exercise, did this work, whatever that is, that was for you, if there was ever where you said, if I would have done all of that, maybe I didn't have to wait for me to hit that mark to get the confidence?
Yes.
What does that look like?
Yeah. So let me say this a little bit differently. I realized I had the confidence at $1 million to realize that everything that I had been doing up to that point was the right thing to do. And so if you're in that mode right now where you are still in the grind phase of business, the thing that you have to realize is that the way you get through it is by going all in on those micro wins, like that person shared my post. That person had a great breakthrough. That customer got the result. That client told a friend. That YouTube ad worked. The little things that we don't celebrate because we're so focused on the result, those little things that are meaningful to someone else. So-and-so had a breakthrough today. Celebrating that on, like, get this, Ajit. If you had a coaching call with somebody and they got a great breakthrough and they gave you permission to share what happened, and you took that and you posted it on social media, and you were able to see or experience that person having a shift or a transformation, that content does way better than you sitting in front of a camera saying, here are the 3 ways that you can have the breakthrough to XYZ. Watching someone else having that transformation, that thing that we defined as the business itself, is the win that we are going for. And what I didn't realize until I was at the million was that I was doing that for people the entire time. And I was going all in on those, but I didn't have the confidence yet to see where it was going. And then when I saw where it went, I realized, I get it now. All of those things that I had done actually did matter. And so I just wish someone had told me when I began that if I focused on what was working really well and I highlighted the transformations and the wins of my clients and my customers, that I would have gotten to the results even faster rather than thinking about the result and how do I backtrack from there. Go all in on your people. Give everything you've got to the people who are paying you money or watching you on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook or wherever. Go all in on them and the result will come faster.
That's a fantastic point, Ryan. Fantastic. So tell us a little bit more about the book that's coming out.
So I wrote a book called 12 Months to 1 Million. We share the same publisher, Ajit. That was a closing deal for me. So I wrote the book because over the last 7 years, I've been teaching and training entrepreneurs one simple formula. And that formula is 4 products at 25 sales a day is 100 sales, and that's $1 million business. And that's the case regardless of what industry you're in. And I walk through what I did well and what I've seen my students do as I have taught this for the last 7 years. And I also go through right now, as the world is changing, what's different about it today. And I'll give you a spoiler alert. The one thing that is different today is that you get results way faster if you've got a small group of people who absolutely love what you are doing. So as a coach or as a consultant, if you're putting out YouTube videos and you're getting 500 views, you got 500 people who love what you are doing enough to watch it, which means that you are going to have that compounding result much, much faster than if you are just going one-to-one. So there's actually a guy on YouTube. His name is Nick Bro. And Nick has, I don't know, maybe 5,000 subscribers on YouTube. And all he posts are little clips of his clients having transformations or him talking about something that he taught on a live call. And I reached out to him. I was like, do you do any one-on-one work? And he was like, yeah, but I'm full. It's like, of course you are, because you're doing this well. And what is important to catch out of that is that even if you've got a small group of people who are paying attention at all, then you've got so much more leverage than everybody else. The other thing that I really want coaches and consultants to get is my background's in e-com, physical products, brands, stuff. And a lot of coaches and consultants don't realize that they could have a completely different revenue stream if they just put a brand or a physical product in with their existing business. Tony Robbins does this. He has a supplement company, he has all kinds of stuff that he sells that can operate with or without him, that are on the back of the audience or the client flow that he has. And that allows him to have a scalable, sellable business that doesn't require him to be doing anything other than focusing on the clients that he serves. And you can do that for your people too, especially if you're in health. If you're in anything health, weight loss, fitness, the alkaline diet, I don't care what you are helping people do. If it's in health and fitness, there is a physical product line. Like a perfect example of this is a friend of ours, Drew Canoli. Drew Canoli was a coach who was just doing content about fitness and juicing. He was really struggling for a long time until he released a greens powder. It was one of the first greens powder. It completely changed the industry. It's now an 8-figure business. It's in retail stores all over the place. It changed his life and changed the industry because he had a group of people who wanted the information that he was teaching, that he was sharing openly and publicly, but it didn't hit enough people until he released the products that made it easier for them to have the transformation that he was trying to give people by teaching them. He just gave them the transformation. Put this in your water, drink it. It'll be almost as good as if you did the juicing yourself. That's the power of having something physical. The whole point that we're trying to do here is give people transformations from where they are to where they want to be. Sometimes we can do that through talking or through teaching or through consulting or coaching or a group meeting or a mastermind. And sometimes we can do that through them consuming something or having something or buying something or having something that is a brand that means something to them. And so if you can think about transformations, then business gets real fun really quickly. I've done it in the context of e-commerce. And so it's those 4 products at 25 sales a day to have 100 sales a day. But the real magic is if you can have a group of people that want to buy what you're selling, and you can repeat that launch process until you're at the $1 million. And that works in every industry.
Thank you so much, Ryan. I think it is when is the book coming out?
It's due out May 5th. Amazon says there may be a 2-week lag, so we'll see.
Okay, cool. I'll try to post this video as closely. So keep us posted on when the book is finally coming out. We totally understand the uncertainty of the time. So just let us know and we'll post it as closely as possible. So by the time you watch this video, either the book would have just come out or would be just coming out. So either of the scenarios, I think this is absolutely a no-brainer for anybody that is in the coaching space. To go get this book, learn how to really simply create a model that takes you to your first million. And then, of course, you'll also, as you go to that place, like Ryan already mentioned, you'll also continue to explore how you go further from there as well.
And what this,
yeah, go on.
What this will really do for a client or for a coach or a consultant who has clients is, if nothing else, it will get you to see how you can take what you are doing right now and build something that is a real business that can grow even bigger than you, so that you can serve more people. So this is the 12-month roadmap to get $1 million business. I've did it in the context of a physical product brand, but it will help you see how you can take the activities and the things that you're doing right now to build something that is not just the thing that you do on the side, but is a real business that helps way more people have the transformations that you're wanting to bring to the world.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Ryan. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Go check out the book, and I'll see you next time.
Thanks so much, Ajit.